Hello aspirants, welcome to LaEx Learnings. Minister of Law has introduced a simultaneous elections bill in Lok Sabha. In this context, we will discuss what is simultaneous election and also we will discuss some of the pros and all cons with respect to simultaneous elections in India. Let us begin. Simultaneous election. Minister of Law introduced a bill with respect to simultaneous elections. This bill aims for one nation, one poll. Means the simultaneous elections, the idea of simultaneous election is nothing but simultaneous elections for Lok Sabha elections plus legislative assemblies of all the states plus legislative assemblies of the union territories plus local bodies. Local bodies include panchayats and municipalities. Conducting elections simultaneously for all these bodies is called simultaneous election in India. But is that correct? The simultaneous election is new to India? No, not at all. Because simultaneous election in India was happened in beginning when we got independence. Till now, 4 times the simultaneous elections were held in India. First time in 1951-52. When we got independence, this is the first time the country went for election. This time, the election were held together for the state assemblies and also for the central government. After that, in 1957, after the 5 years, again simultaneous election were conducted. Again in 1962 and 4th time in 1967. Here, one thing you should note here that all these periods, the Congress was majority in central government and also got majority in most of the states. After that, in 1968 and also in 1969, in this period, some of the states, the legislative assemblies prematurely dissolved. And also in 1970, the Lok Sabha itself prematurely dissolved. Because of these 2 reasons, the simultaneous elections were discontinued in India. Because the elections were happening for the state assemblies and Lok Sabha in a different time period. So after that, many recommendations were made to the central government to revive the simultaneous elections in India. So we'll look what are the recommendations, who recommended the central government with respect to simultaneous elections in India. First one in 1983. In 1983, Election Commission of India recommended the government to revive simultaneous elections in India. Again in 1999, Law Commission headed by BP Jeevan Reddy. Commission also recommended for the simultaneous elections in India. In 2015, Parliamentary Standing Committee also recommended simultaneous election in India. Again in 2017, Niti Aayog in its paper highlighted for simultaneous elections. Recently, Government of India conducted high-level committee under former President Ramnath Kovind. You all guys know that, right? Ramnath Kovind. This committee also recommended the simultaneous elections in India and also made a series of recommendations with respect to how the simultaneous elections can be brought in India. By considering this, recently Cabinet, central government approved simultaneous election in India. Because of that, recently Minister of Law has introduced a bill in the Lok Sabha. Right? But there are some concerns with respect to simultaneous elections. there are also some positives. Why we should bring simultaneous election back in India? We'll see both the aspects. First, we'll discuss some of the advantages, why we need the simultaneous elections in India, and also after that, we'll some of the concerns. We'll look some of the concerns. What are the issues with respect to simultaneous elections in India? First of the advantage is that it promotes consistency in governance. Why and how? Since there are many states, every year there will be elections for many state assemblies, and also there will be elections for the central government. Because of this, there will be a inconsistency in the governance. Because of the elections, many parties will always invest their energy in the conducting elections, participating elections. Because of that, the governance will be hit. So by conducting simultaneous elections, the parties can invest their energy in taking care of governance. Second one is reducing the financial burden. Election Commission of India, in conducting elections to many legislative assemblies and also central government, has a huge burden with respect to financial resources. By conducting simultaneous elections, we can also reduce that burden. Why? How? In fact, conducting simultaneous elections, we can use resources at a time once. We can use same resources for all the legislative assemblies and also for the Lok Sabha elections, right? So because of this, the financial burden will be reduced. Third one is that diverse the resources. Whenever we conduct elections, the Election Commission of India will use other government officials for the election purposes, right? By conducting elections many times in a year, Election Commission of India uses many other government officials for the election purposes. This will hit the governance in other sectors. By conducting elections simultaneously in a 5 years once, we can use that resources wisely and effectively, and there will be no diversification of resources from one source to others. This can reduce the diversification of resources. And fourth one is that there will be a prevention of policy paralysis. How? Whenever the Election Commission of India announces the elections, there will be an implementation of Model Code of Conduct. Whenever the Model Code of Conduct came into picture, there will be no announcement of welfare schemes. Also, there will be no implementation of welfare schemes. Because of this, there will be a policy paralysis year the round, right? The elections will happen every year. By conducting simultaneous elections, the policy paralysis happens once in a 5 years. This is way better than the policy paralysis happening every year, right? So simultaneous elections can be brought into curb the policy paralysis. But what are the issues with respect to simultaneous elections, right? One is that there will be too many amendments should be made to constitution. One constitution. Recently, a high-level committee headed by Ramnath Kovind has recommended around 15 constitutional amendments. This is a very huge, right? And also, in order to include the local bodies in the simultaneous elections, we need approval of half of the states. This is also very difficult because we have so many regional parties, right? We have a diverse country. There are too many views, right? So in order to get half of the states approval for the inclusion of panchayats or local bodies in the simultaneous is also very difficult. And also amendments to the other statutes. For example, Representation of People Act of 1951 and also rules of business of the Lok Sabha, right? And also rules of the business of the state assemblies. These shall be amended to bring simultaneous elections in India. This is also huge task. And other concern is that the Indian population still are many Indian populations are illiterate. Illiterate means in a political illiterate. There is no political awareness among the people. This may lead to inefficient voting, right? This also affects the voting behavior of the population. We saw in the beginning that we mentioned here that all these periods there was only one government at the center and the states, Congress, right? Because there was a simultaneous election. Since there was a simultaneous election, the voting behavior of the people was majorly tilted towards the National Party of Congress. This situation may arise in the future as well. Whoever has the majority in the government or whoever has that tendency in the national level may also get the results in the state level also. This may lead to monopolistic tendency in political area. Since it is a very bad. India is a diverse country, right? So there should be a diverse opinions in the state or also in the center. However, the one nation, one poll is a great idea. To bring that idea into a reality, there should be a broader consensus. Broader consensus means there should be a consensus among parties, means national parties or state parties. There should be a consensus with the states. There would be a consensus with the people of India. After broader consensus and also scientific evidences, wherever the practice is happening in many other countries, we can bring simultaneous election in India to have the advantage in political area. Thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more videos.